What's going on, fam? How we doing? We are here with Stallion. How you doing, Stally? Hope you're doing well.
Yo, yeah, I'm doing good, bro. Hope you're good.
All right, so we have some questions for Stally today. We're gonna be getting into it here. Let's just go ahead and get right into this. So Twitch is a leading platform when it comes to streaming game content, which with its popularity among gamers, there is no question how massive the platform and the number of subscribers that are potentially out there. Many Twitch users think that the huge number of people on the platform, it is easy to get a solid following on Twitch, but is it really? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's definitely not. With big numbers comes big saturation, and when people see, especially in today's day and age, and they see the levels of success that people have got from it, they'll try and replicate that, or they'll try and take their own talk on that, or their own version of that. And what they don't realize is a lot of these viewers watch particular streamers or particular influencers because they're invested in that person, as well as potentially that particular game that person's playing, not necessarily just on watching Twitch as a whole. Like, as a viewer who may not have streamed before, you may not know about the whole the small streamers on the platform or other streamers on the platform. So I think a lot of it comes down to hard work, dedication, and just remaining consistent with everything. But it's definitely not an easy process.
We're getting some audio issues here, Stally. They're saying
Okay.
they can't hear you. Hold on just a second.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. I can hear. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Turn
Okay.
the stream up.
Yeah.
I can't hear myself either.
Yeah. Let
Oh
me
boy.
see. Let me see if that's a little better.
Testing 1 2 1 2. Okay, I can hear myself on the stream.
Okay, that should be better now. I think I needed to turn you up on my end.
It's all good.
Okay, so yeah, I would have to agree, Stella. It's definitely not
Yeah.
it's definitely not easy to gain a following on Twitch for sure. Let's go ahead right into the next one. How should you leverage your username on Twitch?
Okay. I think obviously making it about something that's relatable to you, so it has a meaning to it. Like for me, for example, Stallion. I have Italian parents. I was always called like the Italian Stallion in school when I was young. I'm really fond of horses, and it just kind of made sense. Really, it just fitted my entire brand. I was able to establish a brand around it. So when it comes to you picking your name or having some sort of indication of where you want to go with your brand. If you have a name that you're passionate about, that you really like, then it'll also be easier for you to establish your branding in the future around it as well. So you tick a bunch of boxes without even knowing it at the time. So
Oh yeah, definitely,
very
definitely.
important.
Yeah, definitely, for sure, for sure, for sure. Let's go ahead and get right into the next one here. What were your first games you began to stream when you first started streaming? What were your
I
what?
think I've lost.
Yeah,
Lost
what
your
were
audio
what?
here, bro.
Yeah, what was your first games when you began to start streaming?
Oh man, where do I even start? I mean, it started off with RPGs, things like Skyrim and like single player action games, stuff like Sniper Elite Ghost Warrior, Sniper Elite Warrior, all that kind of stuff. And I moved into things like DBD and like scary games. I found a little niche in like scary games, which I started seeing a better average view count and started seeing growth off that as well. And then as I got to a point where I really established my name out there and got myself out there as well, I yeah, I moved into what I truly loved, which was FPS and into first person shooter games now. So I started off with something that was very kind of open that a lot of people weren't doing at the time necessarily, and then moved into something that fits my style a lot better now. And now I maintain doing FPS, which is what I'm really passionate about gaming and streaming wise.
Oh yeah, and I definitely, just from watching you over the past year plus, you definitely, when I first started watching you, you were playing horror games, like you said,
Yeah.
Dead by Daylight, just getting into it, and you're still doing that, but
Yeah.
you're focusing on Call of Duty content, and it's really
Correct.
interesting how you've done, how you've done that transition, and you've kept you've kept those, you even those that are not interested, even even your fans, viewers, your community, your fam, whatever, you kept them interested, even though that may not be their game of choice, but they're still there. And that's really eye catching. That's really eye catching. So yeah, that's a lot of great points right there. And fam, if you're listening to this, a lot of great points. So take it in, soak it in. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have Stallion on, is because he has a lot of great points. And you listen, just like with everything else growing up, you listen to your elders, in a way, right? And when I say elder, I mean experience. Stallion has a whole bunch of experience on Twitch. And
it's
just
been like 3 years now, bro. Crazy.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on, this is kind of my 2 year branching out, trying to, doing some new content. So I'm the same way, 2 years streaming, and just getting into it. So next question: how long will it take to start gaining subscribers?
Oh, well, I mean, it's different for everybody. I mean, it just depends. Like when you first come onto Twitch, or you're on Twitch. If Twitch is your first platform, so like with me, for example, excuse me, when I first started, I wasn't creating any content on any of the platform. Twitch was like where it all began for me. So for me, I managed to get, I'd say, a fair amount of subscribers from the start because I was really enthusiastic and tried to get myself to stick out with my, big energy and always like speaking to viewers and making them feel welcome and whatnot. But if you're an influencer or somebody who's already got, let's say, a base on places like TikTok, TikTok is a wonder these days for creators, or you're on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or if you've got a big following elsewhere. When you first start on Twitch, that's going to translate partly across anyway. So depending on your influence on other socials, that can depend on your influence that you'll have or already have on Twitch. But if you're brand new, starting off just on Twitch, you don't have any other experience on creating content, then you've definitely got to be patient with it. It's a very long and steady process, and you always got to remember that it's a marathon, not a race. So there's never a rush to get anywhere. Just work it day by day and just be consistent and make sure you look after your community.
Yeah. That's a couple great points that you said right there. It's a marathon, not a race.
Yeah.
Take it slow. If you're the tortoise, that's fine. Eventually, you're going to be that hare and you're going to take off. So exactly. just stay on your own path, stay within your own content, and everything will happen for you. There's that points when you discover a niche, you discover something, and you're like, what? Let's run with that. This is working. Yeah. Let's run with that. Just like COD was for you. You
precisely.
You just stayed on it, stayed grinding, and you kept getting after it. And you're right. Yeah. You got to be patient. You got to be patient, and your time will come.
Yes, sir.
All right. So next question. So going from subscribers, how would you get more viewers for your streams? And you kind of touched on it in our last question with using social media. Do you think that's a good way to go about it?
Oh, it's everything these days. I mean, we spoke about TikTok, the new day and age of content creators, and what does creating content look like in 2021? And if you're a creator at this point and you're not on a platform like TikTok where discoverability is extremely high and your career can just be made overnight by one video, it's a massive platform now. So to get more viewers, you got to be, if you're sitting there streaming like a couple of hours every day or however many hours a week that you do, you should be recycling that content, doing things with it, posting it out on other social media platforms, getting your name out there, showing people why you're different, why should people be watching you and not everybody else. So many things that you can be doing with that content that you're creating, that if you're not doing with it, it's kind of like, well, what's the point of doing it if nobody's going to watch it? So it's about recycling, reusing what you've already done, making the most out of the content that you have, posting it out there, and then trying to gain that viewership from there. It doesn't work always. It may not work straight away, but if you find something that does work, or you find your niche and you run with it, eventually you can build up to something substantial, because something that I've done, it's tried and tested, and a lot of other people have blown up with it as well. So recycle. You've got to push for it. So work hard.
Right. You just have to keep pushing those boundaries, pushing for the next thing. Speaking of pushing boundaries, some of the things that I've seen you do on stream with the with the horse head, with dancing on couches, just stepping outside your comfort zone. When you first started, was that kind of in your comfort zone? Is that something you do like normally, like behind the scenes, kind of out there?
I don't really have a comfort zone, if I'm being honest. I'm just a little bit. I think that's why people like relate to me so much, because I'm just a bit all over the place. To know really, it's hard to say. Like, I don't really have a bubble. I always try new things, experiment with different things. Try this or try that, and just I don't know. Like, I'm not really sure. I mean, obviously I do have a comfort bubble, but I'm always experimenting, trying new stuff. And end of the day, if somebody's going to come and watch my stream, it's like, how do you grab someone's attention from not wanting to click onto somebody else's channel? Or why would somebody come and watch me versus watching somebody else who's playing the same game as me? And it's like, well, if I bring that energy and I bring my atmosphere that I know that I can bring across, then I know that, it may not be for everyone, but for the people that it does hit, they'll really resonate with that. And that's why we've got such a loyal community, and why I've been able to sustain a full-time career from this for, a good nearly 3 years now. So, it's been one hell of a journey, bro, for sure.
Right.
Journey.
Right. It has been crazy. And I've seen part of it. I've seen a good amount of that journey, and it's been really, it's been really awesome to watch and see that growth. And, it makes not only myself, but other content creators want to strive and drive for that, for that level of content, and figure out not taking from your content, and that's something you don't want to do. You don't want to take from somebody else's content. You want to make it your own. You're like, hey, I see something that I like. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to put that on the back burner and take that as my own. But how can I do that? How can I go about that? And that's what you got to do. You got to do it the right way. You can't just take somebody's, you just can't take somebody's content and make it your own. You gotta do the work, put the work in, and put in the grind. So with that said, what would be your top 3 streaming tips?
Oh, I mean, it would vary based off what the content creator is looking for to get out of it. So if they want to be full-time or if they want to do it for fun. But let's say just generally overall in terms of streaming tips, I would say one would be, I think from a mental health perspective, is not to drain yourself constantly with numbers and figures and looking at red, because you're going to see a lot of red over the course of streaming, and that's just the way things go. If things were constantly in the green, then it doesn't exist. Things go up, things come down, and that's just how it is. And you have to understand that not all the time you can be consistently growing without eventually hitting some sort of like standpoint to then maybe drop off again. So, and especially when you first start, that's going to be the case as you try out new things and do different things. So I'd say one would be not to get so down on yourself if you see red, or if you see any stagnance at all. 2 would probably be, I think, time management and time scheduling is very important. I think a lot of people get very overwhelmed with the stream when they first start. They think they have to stream 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that certainly isn't how it works. I'm full-time and I stream 5 to 6 days a week, 6 to 7 hours a day, and even that is quite a lot. So bearing in mind all the other stuff that I've got to do in the background as well, it is a hell of a lot. And so, we've got obviously mental health, you've got time management, and the third one would probably be, it's just got to be content. And what I mean by that is, if you want to grow and you want to see growth, it's got to come from your content. You've got to bring something unique to the table. If it's just constantly you sitting there thinking, why am I not growing? Why am I not doing this? Why am I not doing that? It's because there needs to be something else with your content going on. Why should people watch you? Where's the hook? Where's the factor? So focus on your content and focus on, what it is that you're doing.
That's a lot of great points right there. And it seems to be a commonplace for a lot of content creators and a lot of streamers that, when I first started out, I almost got burnt out. Burnt out from streaming. Just in my first year of streaming on Twitch, I did probably about 4 to maybe 6 24-hour streams. I did probably 12-hour streams. I streamed an enormous amount of time, and guess what? That drove the expectation for viewers, for the fam, for my community, that I was going to be able to do that all the time. And no, that's not just the case. You have to build up to that, or you have to set the boundaries as a content creator. And that's something I've learned now. I've set the boundaries, 3 hours. And again, it all comes back to that time management, like you said,
Yeah.
and managing your schedule based on what you have going on as far as content creation,
Yep.
what you have going on behind the scenes for streaming. Be it you're a full time content creator or real life for that matter. You gotta
Yep.
make time for all those things, and everybody doesn't see that. Every your communities, they don't see all the work that goes in behind the scenes, and they're always asking, hey, LCross, why are you tired? Cross, why are you tired? Stallion, why are you tired? Well, there's a lot that we do on the back end. That's why we look like that. That's why Stallion's eye looks like that. Because we grow.
That was the reason. I wish it was that easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Just throw it off onto streaming. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. It works. This is because of streaming, and we're getting it taken care of. And I hope you do get that taken care of. By the way.
Yeah. It should be next Friday apparently. Where I'm actually gonna have to go into a hospital where they're actually gonna get it popped and drained. So it's a buildup of there's a blockage in my veins, so it needs to be actually popped and drained out. It only takes a few minutes apparently. It's apparently it doesn't hurt really that much, so it should be okay. I just want to get it done regardless of the cost and the procedure. So it's for the long term. So.
Oh yeah, definitely, because your face is out there on social media, on different platforms.
I can't look like this.
On different platforms. Right. Okay, let's go ahead and move into the next question. How would you define network?
I mean, networking is one of those terms where it's used very weirdly, and up to a couple of years ago, I believe that growth could only be achieved through networking. And what I mean by that is, you're obviously meeting people and speaking to people, and in the back of your mind, you always, constantly just think, oh, I hope they come visit my stream, or I hope we can get some support from these people. And it's got to be a lot more than that, because people these days are extremely busy. You shouldn't ever really network with somebody with the hopes of having people to come into your channel or into your stream or any of that kind of stuff. Network at the right times when the right opportunities come up with the right people. So constantly sitting and talking to people on social media all day, every single day, is just going to burn you out, and it won't give you any time to do content as well. Most of your time should be focused, primarily on creating and recycling stuff for your content. And then when good opportunities and things come around, then you focus on obviously the networking aspect and network with people to give you the right opportunities and to give you the opportunity to, get your name out there more, or even just meet people in the industry who are doing similar things to you. So I think there's a right time and place to do it. And I think a lot of people struggle to find what that is and feel like that they have to do it to be or feel relevant in the industry.
Right. So it's leveraging the right platform at the right time for the right purposes. Is what you're going about, and it takes time to learn that too. It's not just
many of them.
It's not just something that it happens overnight. You gotta work at it. You gotta work towards that level of an appropriate networking too. Networking too.
Oh god, yeah.
So
100%.
So that a lot of great points right there, Stallion. I appreciate that. So how did you create a unique brand from the time you started? Like, I've seen you change a little bit and kind of with your growth and everything. How do you create that unique brand for your content, for your stream, for the whole overall production?
I think I always knew where I wanted it to go. Like you said at the very start of the the podcast, and that the energy and the levels of and the things that we bring to the channel, where it's all just really kind of upbeat and there's just a lot of stuff going on. And I kind of had in my mind when I first built my brand, Stallion, it's kind of like an energetic horse. It's something strong, energy, and I that's what I'm saying. It helps to have a brand that goes behind your username and what it is that you're trying to create and deliver. And having the name Stallion behind me and having the brand idea already behind me made it a lot easier for me when I was creating my content, that people know me for Stallion, the guy who has the horse branding, the one who is really energetic, plays FPS games and whatnot. And when I go into his channel, I know I can get, a good vibe from him and chat to him and chill with him, because I class myself personally as a community style streamer. So I may not necessarily, get thousands and thousands and thousands of views every day, but with the viewers that I do have, they are extremely loyal and they follow me for not only the content but the community aspect as well, and that for me is really, really important. So
yeah, and that your brand, it translates to other other opportunities, your stream, your stream team, and those that those that you bring in, those that you bring into your stream team are representing that brand, and kind of a representation of what of what you want to do, but with their own spin on it. And speaking of branding, I like the branding and product placement that you got going on right now.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of stuff with the lights and G Fuel, and it's taken years to get to the point where we are now, but just slowly but surely, little bits and little movements and placements and stuff, just gets everything into the right place and just makes it look as nice as possible. So
right. I mean, I'm starting.
Yeah. I mean, your setup looks clean, bro. It's nice, tidy. It's got everything that you need, and it's just just keep going and building as you go on. So.
Right. So we've kind of already touched on this a little bit, but how has leveraging other social media platforms helped you in your content creation?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, I mention it all the time, and it's like, as much as it is always about saying the same thing, TikTok is what really took my Call of Duty platform and content creation level from something that was good to something that was incredible. I had a couple of big hit videos on the platform, and it took my following and my supportage to a whole new level in terms of the amount of people and just generally the people that would support me as well. So it really is important to focus on all the social media tools that are available, because Twitch, especially when you first start, is not going to be enough when you're sitting there with 0 to 3 average viewers and you're wondering, how do I get more people in here? It's just like, what do I do with the content I'm creating, and how can I make myself stick out on other platforms as well?
Right. So I mean, and it's a lot of, I don't know if that'll work. I don't think I don't think I'm the right for I don't think I'm right for that platform. Yeah. But here's the kicker: you don't know if you don't try. Get out there and try it and see if it works. And I'm not just talking about try it for a couple days. I'm talking about try it for at least 6 months and see how it does. And maybe learn how to get out there and watch a few videos and learn how to work that platform and leverage that platform so that it works for you.
Yeah exactly. I mean, I think the time you said, obviously about 6 months, it can be tough if you're a full-time streamer or content creator. You may not have 6 months to do that, so you may only be able to do it or have to change it over a couple of weeks because it may not be working for you. I think a lot of it depends on your situation as well. 6 months is a long time. And if you have something that doesn't work for 6 months, you wasted 6 months of the year doing absolutely nothing. So I think a lot of it's the same as being self-employed. End of the day, it's a business. It's something that you have to work hard for, and to get there, you've got to be something unique in the industry. Same with any industry that's out there. So you just got to work hard and do your thing, and just hope that you can really leverage yourself out there, apart from what everyone else is doing. So.
Right, yeah, and 6 months is, like you said, is a long timeline. So like you said, if you're full time, you may want to try 2-3 weeks. If something doesn't work, try something else.
Sure.
But if you're one of those, if you're up and coming, let's say, you gotta, maybe 2 months, try it out for 2 months or something like that. Would possibly work. So so within your community and deciding how or when do you decide to play or not play with your viewers, with your community?
I pretty much play with viewers almost all the time, just because that's my content, or what it is that I do. And the game that I play, obviously Call of Duty, makes it really easy to do so, especially when you're playing multiplayer. I can get several people in at a time. We swap every 2 to 3 games. It's pretty easy to mix that up and get a variety of people in there. There are times where I do other things, like what I'm doing right now, which is a win streak where I have a set team of players that I run together with and whatnot. But a lot of it just comes down to the type of content that you are creating. and depending on the games that you play and what it is that you're doing, I think a lot of it can depend on that as well. Because if you're playing like single player games and whatnot, it's not going to be as easy. So I think the essence of it really depends on the game that you're playing and what kind of streamer do you want to be in terms of the content that you're creating.
Right. A lot of great points right there. It depends on the game. It depends on the community, your brand, and what kind of content, like you said, what kind of content you want to create. Just to let you know, Stallion, we're coming up on the 30 minutes. Do you have time for a few more questions?
Yeah, sure. Do what you need to do.
Okay. Yeah. Just wanted to be aware of your time, and again, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure the fam appreciates it too. So,
thanks for having me.
Getting right into the next question here. How often should you offer giveaways, or when should you offer giveaways? Based on certain milestones and things like that.
I wouldn't depend on it for growth, because it's kind of like manipulative growth, where obviously people will be jumping on because you're offering a giveaway, or coming towards you because you're offering something, because you're offering something monetary, or offering something for free for someone. But then at the end of it, it's just kind of like, what are you left with? You may get a couple of people who have found you for a giveaway, and then they may come and enjoy your content and stick with you because of that. But the reality on the most part is people will just come for the free stuff, and then you may never see them again. So giveaways should be always done in accordance to what you can afford and what you can spare as well. So for me, I do a giveaway to my community once a month for some merch and potentially some G Fuel as well. And to leverage that for the system that I do, the more that you're in chat, the more points you get. And the more that you're around in the community, the more tickets you get, which means the more chance you win. So, I leverage the giveaway that I've got, and then those that are loyal and those that really do stick around a lot and, buy a lot of tickets and whatnot, do get more of a chance to win. So it's kind of like loyalty pays off. But, I don't depend on it for growth. For me, I do it because I want to give back to the community because they give so much to me. So.
Right. So leveraging like your chat bots is a good way to kind of manage that and go about that. So that way the fan, the community, the viewers that are there in your communities, they're the ones that could possibly take advantage of those giveaways. And it makes sense because they're there all the time, they're supporting you, and they're the ones that are going to have that advantage over somebody coming in new, looking for a free handout or something quick, and then, like you said, just leave.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So how would you define the statement interesting commentary? How do you make your commentary interesting, or is there anything about commentary that you'd like to touch on in terms of content creation and bringing it to your community?
Do you mean like the way you present yourself and the way you say things, or?
Right. Like the way related to your game, or is there a way you approach commentary? As far as that.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, a lot of it's just catchy, quick, funny, and high energy. And it fits my brand. It fits what it is. So no matter what time you tune into a stream of mine, you'll usually be seeing me present myself in a way where it's very high energy, very upbeat, and that's always presented by my commentary as well. A lot of people like to stick around because I say a lot of funny stuff, and I go off topic on a lot of things, and I just don't want things to feel serious all the time. There's a lot of things, especially at the moment in the world, that are going on where people come into streams for a release, and they need to go to a place where mentally it helps them a lot to get away from all the worries of the world, especially with all the COVID and coronavirus stuff that's going on. So I like to see myself and my community as a place as well. When people do come in, they'll receive that energy that they're looking for, and a place where they can escape all the stuff that's going on. So again, it comes down to branding. What sort of people would I want to perceive me as when they come into my channel, and how do I present myself across to the community so that they know that when they come to see a Stallion experience, this is what they're going to get. And that goes with recycling my content as well. This is the kind of content they're going to get because that follows my style and how I am.
I like that Stallion experience coming soon.
Exactly.
I like that. Yeah. I like that part of branding, and that's what you gotta think about. You gotta bring that full circle back to your brand, and like you said, what you want to do, the content that you want to create, and when you go out, when you go outside, when you step outside of your, of your setup, you're still that same person. That's really for me what I want to be. I want to be that same person that they see behind, that they see in front of the camera. I want to be that same. I want to be that same person. So let's say you see me on the street, you see me at TwitchCon, whatever the case may be. You're gonna get that same person, and that's kind of what
Exactly.
that's for me. That's what I want to portray. So I don't want to do anything that I wouldn't normally do or normally say. Out in terms of a certain setting or what have you. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so so how important is it to stick to a schedule? Then if you can't, how would you go about putting out a schedule and making sure that you want to stream, but you can't, and there's been a lot of apprehensive and kind of
Yeah.
tentative, like I don't know if I want to stream like 1 day a week or 3 days a week, and I don't think I have the time, and I've heard a lot of those questions. So how would you what would you say, and how would you go about talking to somebody that has those questions?
I think scheduling is really important. And, how can you be consistent or expect consistency in your content if you're not being consistent yourself? Obviously, what I mean by that is like how can you expect to build an audience and a community of people to come and watch you if you don't even know personally yourself when you're going to be live or what it is that you're going to be doing? Now, obviously, that depends on people, on their situation. Some people work full-time jobs alongside streaming. Some people have kids. Some people look after others. And, it may be that their schedules change day by day or even week by week. And, you just have to deal with the situation that you've got, depending on what situation you're in, and try and leverage around that as much as you can. So, like, always keeping your community in touch with what it is that you're going to be doing this week. What are you going to do next week? How much is that going to diversify? I think for me, obviously, it's a different story because I do this full time. I manage my own hours. So my community know every day if I'm going live and when I'm going live. So that's obviously like really important as well to know. And it all comes down to communication at the end of the day. Knowing your priorities. Again, time management is really important. Knowing what days that you can go live and communicating across that to your community so they know what's going on.
Right. Definitely. And
Yeah.
they're for a while. I like to with Discord, with Twitter, with Instagram. I like to keep my community informed of what I'm going to be doing every day. So I put out a schedule every Sunday, or try to put it out every Saturday for the next week, and try to keep the fan performed. Like right now, I'm going to college full time. I'm going back to college full time. So I'm pursuing my degree. So like you said, you got to manage your time. You got to work. You got to work in what you can, but at the same time, keeping up your content. And obviously, you may not grow. You may not grow during this time, but you're at least keeping those that are still watching, the fam that's still watching and coming through. And who knows, you may get some new people coming in, and they may be like, oh hey, I like you. When are you streaming next? Well, it's in my schedule. I just put it on my Twitch schedule. It's on Twitter. I just put it on. I put it on Twitter on Saturday or Sunday. So check it out. When I update it, I update a new pinned tweet. And that kind of thing, and just getting it out there. And we may sound like broken records doing that, but there's always new people coming into chat. You always got to think like that. There's always new people coming into chat that may not know that. So yes, we may sound like broken records to to the regulars that come into chat, but we're doing that for the potentially new people that are coming into chat and viewing our channels for the first time. And so would you agree with that?
Yeah, no, 100%. Absolutely. Like you said about posting out on Twitter, posting out in other places, and treating everybody like it would be their first time in the channel. End of the day, especially like you say, if you're going to do your studies or you're going to do your degree or what it is, or whatever it is that you're doing, your schedule is probably going to be really dynamic and change from day to day and week to week. So if you're not communicating with that with your audience or with the people that follow you and support you in your content, how can you expect them to be there on days where you're changing your streaming schedule too if you don't tell them way in advance on what it's going to be? Because like I said, people have busy lives, people have busy schedules, and if you're not changing your attitude to how you communicate with them, then how can you expect to grow in the first place?
Right. And then, scheduling stuff like this too. You got to
Yeah,
do it in advance. There's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes and scheduling this and
yeah,
time zones and things like that. So
100%.
again,
Yeah.
appreciate having you on, Stallion. So next
Of course.
question. How does having an appealing Twitch layout help your brand? And
Um,
what will appealing Twitch layout does it, do you, how does that think it helps your brand?
I mean, obviously having an eye-catching brand and a layout will help you a lot because when people come in there, they're caught straight away to maybe a color theme or your branding or the design of your stream or just the way that it looks. And obviously, it just makes you look more professional, right? We're in an industry where, again, it's you're self-employed. You're just like any other industry where if you want to stick out compared to other people, you've got to do something to make yourself stick out. So in order to do that, you've got to present yourself differently from everybody else. And if you spend time working on your brand and making your layout look really good and making your colors pop in and just make yourself look really professional and whatnot, people are gonna see you as somebody like that, not as somebody when they go in there that there's no layout, there's no branding. Your stream may be really laggy, there may be issues, and you may end up getting known for that for a little while, especially when you first start out. But then you work hard to try and fix that and improve and make it look as good as possible. So it just changes people's general perception of you.
Right. So how about this? So when you go
Yeah,
to a channel for the first time and you're gonna
yeah.
raid somebody for the first time, do you look at their about section and let's say you see just a donation panel down there? What is your perception of that, and how would you perceive that coming to a new channel and just that's all they have down there for the
I mean, usually
for
when
the
I
first
raid
time?
somebody, I'm always So when I raid people, I usually raid people who uh, I find both support me and are active in the community and whatnot, just to kind of show my gratitude and say thank you for what you do for me and the Stallion streaming community and whatnot. If it's I've only ever very rarely raided people who I don't know, just because it's one of them things that if you don't get a good reception or I don't necessarily know who that person is, it's like I put myself in my community at the mercy of somebody who I have no idea who it is. So if I was to go into someone's channel for the first ever time, not even looking at just the panel section, but just looking at their names in general, and looking at their attitude in general, it's like, would I risk my community to go in there? So yeah, if I'm gonna send my community into somewhere, at least I know it's gonna be someone who I have a personal relationship with, and I know I can trust my community in there.
Right. So when raiding somebody for the first time,
Yeah,
you want to make sure that that you know them, or if you're rating them for the first time, they look like they're going to be perceptive. They're going to be they're going to be appreciative of the raid and the love and the vibes and the community coming in. And
hmm.
also, I look at the rules like on Twitch. I'm surprised that there are some communities out there that say no spamming. It's like
Yeah,
that's when you come in for a raid, it's like I love seeing just chat lit
yeah,
up.
yeah,
When a big raid comes in, I love seeing chat lit up. And it
yeah,
just it hypes that hypes me up. That gets me going. And
for
I'm
sure.
sitting there, fumbling on myself, trying to read every name coming in, and just getting all hype and like I'm really appreciative of whether it's one or whether it's 1,000 coming
Yeah,
in. I'm appreciative of everybody coming in, especially the content creator that decided to come show the love and spread the love for the for the channel. So I
yeah.
appreciate that. And shout them out, do all that, all the courtesies. So
Hmm.
it's like you said, it's you gotta make sure that it's kind of an extension of who you are. Is who you're gonna be raiding, or somebody you know. um so if it's somebody you don't know, do you ever kind of step out and go ahead and raid somebody new, let's say in the Call of Duty game category or something like that?
I've only done that like twice or three times, and each time it's been questionable, I would say. Um, yeah, again, it's just the risk, isn't it? You don't know who you're taking your community into, so you're going to be at the mercy of someone else's. Um, you're at the mercy of someone else's attitude or someone else's personality. So I try and avoid that as and where possible. And for me, when it comes to a raid, I like to give back to those that give to me and to give to the community. And I know a lot of other people do that as well. They have their bubble of community and people that they want to raid and who they want to show love to. So I usually follow the same. And if people are going to go out their way to support me and whatnot, the least I can do is drop them an unexpected raid when they're streaming and try and help blow up their channel as well.
Oh yeah, and I've seen some of those raid reactions, and they are absolutely awesome.
Yeah, they're brilliant.
I love it. I love it. I hope to be in that position someday and be able to just blow somebody's channel up. I've been in that position a couple of times where I've gotten raided by like 200 plus people, and 100 plus are still sticking around, and I've raided with, I've dropped into a channel that only has like a couple viewers, and I've dropped into a channel with like 70 plus raiders, and they're just like, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap. And that lifts my heart, and I'm just like, especially, somebody I know, they're going to be appreciative of it, like you said. And that's just really awesome. Yeah. That's really awesome to see. So going into the next question, should you reach out to external gaming bloggers or news sites to promote your content?
I think that depends on what you can offer and what it is that you think you get out of it. So a lot of it comes down to, again, knowing business and, looking at your stream like a business and what it is that site could offer. I mean, it's the same with sponsorships and partnerships and affiliations and whatnot. It's just like, you have to ask yourself at the end of it, what is the point? And, is there a point to what it is that you're trying to get from that? And what can you achieve from it? So, if there is things to achieve and you feel like you in this secondary company or sponsorship or affiliation, whatever it is that you're reaching out to, you can get some sort of mutual ground and it'll benefit both parties, then absolutely. However, if it's just kind of just doing it just for kind of like a clout move, or a move where it's just like you're just doing it just to kind of do it and get your name on the spectrum for a little while, then it's kind of like, well, how long is it going to last for if you don't really believe in it? So I think you obviously evaluate the situation, look at how it is with your branding and everything that you've got to offer and whatnot, and then go from there. And if that does work and it does fit everything that's to do with your brand, then absolutely. If it doesn't, then it's probably not worth it. So
right. So if it's worth risking your brand and risking your community or bringing your community to something that they might not be aware of. And you got to think about those things. Is it worth,
for sure,
risking my reputation, my brand on something that, I may not be aware of or I haven't researched. So yeah, a lot of good insightful points there, Stallion. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay. So how often, being you're a competitive gamer, or maybe you're not a competitive gamer, how often should you play or host community or official tournaments? And how have you ever?
I mean, I have. Again, that comes down to how does that fit into your content? How does that work for you? How does it work with, the content you're trying to create? And, I mean, it's done on a case-by-case basis. It could be something that you're trying out that you want to try and get more people involved in. So you think, I'm going to host a tournament, see how that goes. It might be something where, you just try like to get the community involved into like a community day. So you think, I'm going to host one of these. It's just about gauging the situation. If you've seen that you've got like a really big community and they're all doing, everyone's doing really well, and you think, I want to give back to this community and doing so-and-so, then, by all means you can do that. So I think it's just about gauging and knowing what it is that your community is about, what it is that they want, and how can you solidify that and make it even better.
Right. Yeah, very, very well said. So it may not be a tournament or an official tournament, but maybe a community day, and you start, and that's where you start. So kind of like a building block. You maybe do it every, maybe do it once a week, and build up to that, and then once you become, better known, for holding and hosting those kind of community days, those type of events, then maybe in the future you could possibly host an official tournament, based on how big your brand is.
Exactly.
So going into the next question here, how would you define choose the right game? I've seen that a lot on Twitch. How do you choose the right game? Is it something you enjoy, or is it something kind of like content driven?
it's got to be what you enjoy, because if you do it and you don't enjoy it, then eventually you're going to burn out from it no matter what. And you've also got to see if you want to grow through it as well, you have to look at it as a thing of, is there growth opportunity behind it? What can I do with this to grow from this? So yeah, I mean, it's always a tough one, really. It's just like, where does the line drop? And where do I go with? Should I focus on it because I'm going to grow from it, or do I do it because I know it's gonna make me happy? And it's about trying to find that line as much as possible for that can cover both. So a lot of it you won't even know that because you need to trial it. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough question to answer, and you probably won't truly know which side it's going to be until you try it yourself, and for a long time as well. So if it can make you happy, great. But are you going to grow from it? Are you going to grow from it? Great. But is it making you happy? And that can change over the course of time as well, depending on updates, depending on what they do with the game, depending on what the team behind the game do as well.
Right. And the longevity of the game and the life of the game as well. It can make a big difference on whether you play it. For example, like a game of like Call of Duty. Call of Duty is coming out every year. So is Call of Duty going to be relevant every year? Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Are people going to choose to play it? Maybe not. But for my games, that took me a while. It took me a while to decide, what I wanted to do and what I wanted to play, because when I first started off, I was playing single player games, and I was doing a lot of single player content, and I found my way into Farming Simulator, and I enjoyed Farming Simulator. It's chill, it's relaxing, it's one of those zens for me. And then I started getting back into Dead by Daylight, and like you said, it's like, how do you balance that? And for me, I've found, hey, I'm going to do Farming Simulator on one day, Dead by Daylight on the other, and just keep alternating it, so that way I get that, the experience from both games, and those vibes that I feel from both games. And then maybe, every 2 weeks, every month, do a variety day, so that way I can get all that variety out of my system.
That's pretty much what I do.
Right. Yeah. And I've seen a few of those varieties, and it may not be a 9-hour variety stream, but it may be like a 4-hour variety stream where you play a different game each hour. So you have to, kind of gear that to you, and again, time management and your schedule, and what you got going on. So the next question here is kind of one that I kind of giggle about. So, are clickbait titles a way to catch viewers' attention? I've seen a lot of it.
Yeah, it can work. I wouldn't depend on it. But I mean, if you're high up in a directory, for example, against what other streamers are doing, then it could. I always do consider a title when it is, when I post that and whatnot. It's another opportunity to promote yourself and market yourself in front of the face of Twitch. And it's an opportunity that you shouldn't be squandered. So yeah, definitely market yourself. Don't see it as something that you should completely ignore. And it's just like, people have a very quick attention span, so you want to catch them in that first sentence of it, especially the first couple of words. So make it eye-catching, make it relevant to your content. And if you want to put something like really catchy or funny, or something that you think, oh, you know what, this will definitely bring people in and it's related to my content, then absolutely do it. Go for it. So.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of titles where, if they can't think of a title, it's just insert title here. So I've seen some pretty creative titles on Twitch. So that's an interesting viewpoint. So you kind of gotta gear it to what's gonna work for you and what's gonna work for your content. So that's a good insight on that. So do you ever leverage content ranking optimization, or like statistics, or ranking websites, and how do you use that? How do you use that to your advantage?
Not really. I mean, when I'm looking at statistics, mainly just based off of Twitch, or mainly more for like sponsorship opportunities. I think obviously maybe once a month is always good to rack up all your numbers together, have a look at what it is, and you think, right, if somebody was to come to me with an opportunity, this is what would be on my CV, this is what I would offer. Twitch gives you that metric from where people are watching from, what your last 30 days was and whatnot. And then there are other places like Social Blade and other websites which show growth over time as well. So feel free to use them as well. But I think it just depends on what it is that you're trying to get out from your numbers. Are you aiming for a new sponsorship? Are you aiming for something that will help leverage your name with a company, with a partnership or something like that? So I would say probably once a month it's good to get all your numbers together, have a look at where it is that you're at, and then maybe just go from there and see what you've got to offer to anybody if they were to reach out to you, or if you were to reach out with them. So
okay, so yeah, I would have to agree with that. And then would you ever use it for, let's say, like, obviously you're a partner already, but I've seen a lot of people use those statistic websites as kind of like a gauge for partnership pushes and kind of tracking numbers. But for me, that would be nerve-wracking to kind of focus on that, as to watch your numbers for a partnership push, or like projections or whatever stuff, something like that, and using other analytical tools to kind of watch that, to kind of see if you're going in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, a projection is always just a projection. Things can change every single day. You shouldn't get probably too caught up on what it is that you're projected to get, rather than just working hard and trying to get yourself out there and just be the best person that you can be every day, because it can be quite daunting thinking, oh man, I'm projected to get this but I'm not getting this. And it's just like, well, things change day by day in this industry. You go from having tons of followers or tons of supporters to having none because of a particular reason, or because of a game change or whatever. So I want to get too caught up on it in terms of what it is that you're projected, and just focus on what it is that will give you momentum, and then just work off that.
Yeah, so I mean, just like you said, just go with what you feel.
Yeah,
go with what you feel, and and that's pretty much. I think that's pretty much the best way to go about it. I've started ignoring all the statistics. Like, I'm focused on the content. I'm focused on the fam that's coming in every day, showing support, and I appreciate that. Even the ones that are lurking in the background, and I don't call out lurkers. I appreciate lurkers. So I appreciate all that, and the and the people that just those that stick around is what's eventually going to make the channel and allow you to in the future possibly get that partnership and move your channel in the direction that you want to go. But you got to take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and not get too caught up in all the other stuff that goes around it. All that other stuff, the branding, everything else like that will come. So
just so you know, bro, I've got a meeting in 3 minutes.
Yep. I've been watching. I've been watching it. One last question: how do you approach promoting your content to generate revenue? So kind of leading into the next question.
I mean, obviously, like, sub goals and donation goals are all great and whatnot, but I think a lot of it is give back. So if you're going to create things like sub goals and incentives and whatnot, have a look at what your branding is like, and can you find it relative to that style to get to people to want to sub to you. Because I mean, end of the day, right, whether you do this as a full-time living or not, it would be nice to make some money off it, and if you can generate extra revenue from having people to support you through subbing, then why not have some sort of incentives to get people to do so. So I mean, if you can find something that makes your channel unique, and that you'd be like, right, this is what tier 1 subs get, this is what prime subs get for just supporting me, and it can be like a range of things like playing with you or extra points for giveaways, more chance of winning giveaways, etc., and then definitely do so. I know I offer a bunch of incentives for people that sub to me, and text to speech to make funny messages and all that kind of stuff. So if that works for you, and a lot of it comes through trial and error, then go for it. I mean, again, it's extra revenue, and also it helps you and your stream grow as well. So
you got to find what works for you, and what's gonna be best for your content, and how everything how everything's gonna work out. And you just gotta, like I said earlier, you gotta take your time with it and figure out what works, what doesn't, and take it one step at a time, one day at a time. And again, Stallion, I appreciate you coming on for the first episode of LCross Chat Podcast.
I
Appreciate you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate the follow. I appreciate that. Appreciate the vibes. Much love. Appreciate everybody that came out. This is the end. Stally has other behind the scenes stuff and things he's got to do. So we appreciate having him on, and hopefully we'll be able to get to see Stally again in the future. Who knows? We'll see.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks for having you on, Stally. Much love to
No
you.
worries, bro.
Hey, if you haven't seen Stally, go over, check him out. I'll be shouting him out on social media. Great content creator, newly minted Carnage Clan member. So yeah, go check him out. Big things. You want to see how a streamer is supposed to stream? Stallion, right there. Go check him out. Show him some love. Appreciate you having you on, and good luck to everything that you got going on in the future. Peace.
Take care, brother. Peace. Letters.
All right, fam. That is going to be it. Opies, everybody. Stallion, I appreciate you all coming out and being on the first episode of LCross Chat Podcast. Much love to you. I really enjoyed having Stallion on, and we shall see each other next time. So much love to you. Appreciate you. We're going to host over to somebody, and I shall see you next time. Peace. All right, let's see here. Let's see who we want to host. Let's see who we want to host over to here. All right, just give me a sec here, fam. All right, we are going to host over to Danger Don Juan. So I appreciate you all coming out. Much love to you. And we shall see you all next time. Peace.